Just gonna make sure it comes through before I say anything.
I think it has.
Right, we are live. Fantastic. Hello, everybody, and a very good evening to you all. Welcome back to round number 2 of the Premier Tier. This is the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm delighted to say I am once again joined by Bobbert for this one. Last week was good. If you are a Shizou fan, which I know you very much are, 1-2 in the end, and a bit of showboating across the line. It couldn't have been any more perfect race for them.
No, it was, it's exactly what the doctor ordered, I guess you could say last week. It was, good qualifying and, controlled the race. They knew what to do. The tactics worked out, and as well as, Volakongan's extra lap and his in lap was amazingly great. If that's such a thing, you could actually say that's two superlatives put together, two adjectives put together. But anyway, it was, great result. Great way to start to the season for SCI. But also for VNT, they got that third and fourth place in the end. Especially with Placky making his way through the field. So, as we said last week, best of the rest, you could say. But if there's, any positions you want to be behind the top two as the second team aspect, at least it's third and fourth.
Yeah, certainly so. And as a result, they only trail Shizou in the championship by 15 points, which is not bad going after the first round. Of course, Shizou scoring the maximum 55 for one race. And yeah, I mean, certainly coming into Hungary, another high degradation track, you could say. I think a lot less intense than what Spa was. Of course, more laps, a lot more load on the tyres in quick succession, certainly through that middle sector. Will we have to see a little bit more of that tyre whispering, you could say, from Volakongan tonight?
I think definitely so. I mean, we know obviously, Spa has, in particular, that middle sector of medium and high speed corners in particular. I mean, you did technically have the hairpin of Bruxelles, but every other corner is medium to high speed. So yeah, there is a lot of tyre deg there. But here, obviously, around Hungary, it's a much tighter track. The corners come at you thick and fast. It's not quite as fast flowing. Obviously, it is technically, a short track. I can't remember exactly what the distance is. I will be brutally honest. But no, I think, especially here, yes, you're going to have to be a very good tyre whisperer. You're going to have to maintain those tyres in the middle sector especially, and obviously following the cars in front as we do get ourselves underway. I was actually involved with Quantum. We did get overtaken by Allison, who, first time we've seen in the season. Let's see what he can do.
You mentioned the length of the track. I've gone onto my Wikipedia tab. 4.381 kilometres is the exact distance of this one. So yeah, not quite the 7 kilometres we had in Spa, and thus a lot more laps taking place tonight. Watching Alessin as his friend in the other Honda-powered car there in front of him, gets past him with ease, and then up now through turn number 5. This is where things start to get a little bit more tight, tricky for overtaking, as if the game wasn't hard enough. Over that inside curve at turn 7, really flinging it now through turn 8 and onto 9 as well, with a small lift and a touch of grass on the entrance there, perhaps just scrubbing off a little bit of apex speed. Flat out through the right-hand 6th gear, back end wanting to kick out, but nicely in check. 3-0 in the middle sector for the Dutchman, and now there's just 2 more corners, quite similar in terms of radius. You go left about 180 degrees in turn 13, and then right about 180 degrees in turn 14. Easy on the power, very easy to lose traction there, and across the line with a 1 minute 14.662. Some more cars coming up to the line. I think someone outlaps Jude Frederick invalid, as Quantum did actually go about 1/10 of a second quicker than a lesson there. And of course, Quantum very much being one to watch tonight after, you could say, that unfortunate race in Spa. He was lagging earlier on in the race, and then of course I think he made contact with Nick, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it was Nick, and then he also had a separate second incident later on in the race with, again, I can't remember who it was, but yeah, definitely a race to forget for FRT as a whole, actually, not just for Quantum, but obviously for his teammate Knight as well. So obviously, but there's no Knight tonight. We have got Max Power instead, as that's Evan there. I'm going to say Evan, even though it's technically spelled as even, but yeah, we know that. Goes a 10th clear of Quantum, near enough there at the top of the standings for VNT. Well, as we get the early laps on the board, that is Franek going into P3 now in the Aston Martin. Time still coming in thick and fast. But 6/10, I mean, even though we've only got 9 times on the board, a 6/10 field spread is a lot more than even compared to last week already, obviously, you know, what was it, top 17 separated by less than 4/10 of a second?
Yeah, certainly. Sorry, I just got absolutely jump scared, and then I've accidentally put 2 ats in the social twice because I was in the channel and I didn't realise Caesar had already pinged. So everybody's having a go at me for that. Don't have a go at me. I'm dealing with something.
Caesar,
Going
cool
on
your
board.
jets.
Yeah, no, relax, it's fine. People just have double the awareness that the Premier Tier is live. On board then with Morgan coming around the final corner. Turned it a little bit too early there, and it's going to derate up to the line. This will be a very slow lap time. I'm not surprised that that lap time was slowest. We have the quickest lap time on the board set by SCI Oscar, a 1 minute 14.394 and a 400th of a second gap to Ventari's even Kanai in second place. I quite like saying it like that, actually. NXT Predestinato. Oh, that's a mouthful to say. That's a mouthful to say for somebody that can't talk properly like me. Right, here he comes then, up towards the line, and he goes 7th, so kind of bang mid-table.
Yeah, not a bad effort there from Predestinato. I mean, the only reason I can pronounce his name is because he did race with me in Tier 2 on the last game.
Oh, lovely.
So I got used to pronouncing that, I guess. Well, I don't know why I'd be pronouncing it, because I'd be racing. Either way, I've seen the name a fair few times, and yeah, well, it's good to have him back again. Volokongan was on a lap, but he had invalidated, but it was a good 2/10 slower than Oscar, so probably had a bit of a snap somewhere, probably going into, I would say, turn 11. But didn't really see the full lap, if I'm brutally honest. But the fact we've only got 13 drivers, and well, crowding is on a lap but has invalidated, that's called going wide crowding. I know you're a big man, but you don't need to go that wide off the exit of the corner. But yeah, 13 drivers say a lap time. Morgan actually did do his lap on his second attempt, so might explain part of the 6/10 difference to Kazi in front of him, but not all of it. He'll hopefully be wanting to find quite a bit more time going into these remaining 11 minutes of this qualifying session.
Yeah, certainly so. Bravo Racing Club putting in a really good showing so far. Third with Ryzen up there, and they left Spa pointless, unfortunately. The only team not to pick up a point in the opening round, which was really a shame based on what we saw from qualifying from Polly Massey. He put his car 7th. So yeah, again, that sort of top 10 start, if they can get another today, then yeah, they really need to look to convert that into some points. Max Grosspointer in the chat, good evening. He asks if this is a short qualifying. Yes, it is. So just the 18 minutes on the clock. It doesn't really look like it, does it? Because of how few lap times we've seen set in comparison to what we normally would. Anyway, here comes Jude Frederick. He invalidated his first run in the session. He's also been accidentally promoted to lobby host, and after saying that he ran the qualifiers on his hotspot, I'm a little bit worried, but we won't reserve any judgment at this stage. He's driving for EVR this evening, and well, they had a good first round.
They did. I mean, Schumacher in particular. I mean, you know, he had a bad qualifying in Schumacher, but showed his grit and his determination through the race. That one little incident with Polymesses Jude there goes wide, and the exit turn for a corner that you can easily just run too far wide on, or even easily as just much as turning in too early. It's a very difficult corner to turn for. 6th gear generally in qualifying aspect, maybe 5th and then into 6th towards the end of the race. But yeah. Either way, yes, they did have Schumacher had a decent race. His teammate Kevin, after a slow burner start from losing positions, did make his way back up through the field. So it was a decent result for EVR in the end, but want to try and build on that going into tonight. But yeah, Jude obviously now having some difficulties on his first 2 attempts. His teammate Kazi is on the lap at least, but he's also invalidated. Yeah. So far, EVR struggling a little bit, but you know, they've still got time to pit in and maybe get 2 more attempts in, or depending on what sort of tyre allocation that they've gone for, but pressure is on them at the moment.
Let's go up to Quantum then. He is the next car on a flying lap. He stuck his kick but in P6 on the grids last time out, and he was again running around there when that very unfortunate collision occurred. Down then through this downhill section. This is turn number 3 and up towards turn 4. Notable incident this year, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Not again, guys, surely not. No, Max placed his car at the inside. Lewis Hamilton got a bit scared and just ran off the track. I'm sure you all remember that very well. Generated a bit of discussion. Everybody unanimously calling Hamilton a bit stupid on that occasion because Max wasn't actually going to hit him. Right, into the middle sector. Is he flat through the right? Yes, he is. A little bit of overtake as well. Intriguing to see how they are using this battery. They're running it kind of down to empty by the end of the middle sector. That's because you don't really need a lot of it in the final few corners.
I mean, yes, but I mean, obviously you do want it out of these slow corners just to burn it up a little bit to the next one, obviously, especially these ultimate corners, and obviously now as Quantum exits the final corner to the start and finish line. But what's it going to be for the FR team? And it goes on to provisional P2, 2/1000s behind Oscar with a supposedly purple final sector. What was a decent attempt there from Quantum. I think there's time to find in that middle sector in particular for him, but it's so far it's been a good qualifying for Quantum, but as we know, qualifying is one thing, racing is something completely different. Rev Caterpillar saying in the chat, 2 commentators, is this a dream? No, it is not, because we had the dream last week when we were both here, and we're here again, so it's not a dream. You can definitely say it's reality.
We've just kind of swapped roles a little bit, because Bobbitt was having his tea lesson.
Exactly.
What did you have for tea?
Tea? I had fish and chips.
Oh! Superb.
And some mushy peas, because, you know, classic British or English food. That is well, there's a statement for you from I know you say Alison, I say Alison. I think that's the north and south divide for us as to where we both currently live. But either way, that's nearly 2/10 over Oscar, who is on his I wasn't going to say latest lap. I think he's invalidated because he's got pretty much no battery, and indeed I think he did on that second run. But Alison's teammate has also invalidated. People seem to be struggling a little bit at the moment. So has Ryzen for BRC. That's called cutting the chicane there. You don't want to be doing that in the race, so you're going to pick yourself a straight 3-second time penalty, I'm afraid. Typical's invalidated. Predestinato has not invalidated, at least, so I will ride on board with him, at least. Currently now down into P10. I'll tell you what, though, that is a solid 1 minute 27 from Steve there. I mean, it's still probably quicker than what I can go.
He might just have the wet weather glitch where it's raining on his screen but for nobody else. I mean, it has happened. It's happened over the years, hasn't it? 200's up for Predestinato. Oh, for goodness sake.
You don't say now, he's invalidated.
Oh, no, yeah. I'm
How
too
about
busy
I just commentate on him tonight?
Yeah,
you can do the remaining 18 drivers.
Names are getting too complicated nowadays.
I don't know, some people seem to find my name complicated. I mean, it's like I've only been around 13 years. Come on.
Bobots, come on. What are you doing?
Exactly, yeah, Langman goes into the pits. And Mateo Manga coming to complete his lap time of what's not been a fantastic lap. It's only P14 for the McLaren man. He comes crowding to the end, and again, another lap time not really lighting up the timing sheets, and it's P14 now for him. But, you know, best part of a second away from Allison out in front. That is not what crowding would have been wanting.
No, certainly not. I mean, for a driver that's raced as many years as he have, it always feels like for him coming into these races, it's still a big responsibility. I've never quite seen the best out of him, and that he is maybe capable in the more conventional league races. But I do hope he does well tonight, and as it stands, P14 would be a point, and a point he'd probably take if you were to offer him that at this moment in time. They are the only 2 cars out on circuit, crowding and Mattia Manga at the moment as we await the final runs in the session. Got a yellow flag on the screen, so I don't quite know how long is left, but what I can tell you is that we are just playing the waiting game.
Indeed we are, but Jude has already decided to come back out onto track. My guess is we've probably got the best part of maybe 4 minutes left of qualifying. Now, I would say if I was Jude, I'd put enough in for 2 laps here. He's already struggled, as I've said, so far in his qualifying session. Invalidated his second attempt. Not too sure what happened on his first attempt. But so yeah, pressure is on for the EVR driver. You know, P19 and what is stone dead last. Obviously, we do only have 19 drivers here tonight. We are 1 short, but oh well, there we go. We have 4 minutes and 7 seconds left. I wasn't far away. That's not too bad actually. That's a good shout. It's not a bad guess.
Yeah, the missing driver is Zyrus of TF10, and even his teammate saying that, well, I don't know where he is, so he's kind of been left in the dark a little bit in this situation. So I do kind of feel for him slightly, because, well, he's got to run this race on his own, and as we very well know from last week, it's a two-man job. Every single team race, you cannot have the optimum strategy running on your own. You've got to have somebody in support with you for the best chance of doing well.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, the only one positive thing is, at least, is when he does need to pit, he doesn't have the issue of coming in the same lap as his teammate. But obviously, all of these teams have engineers now. They will all be saying one driver does this, one driver does something completely different. But you know, sometimes stupid things do happen. You do see teammates pit at the same time because one of them wasn't listening. But here comes Jude now on what potentially is his final attempt as he flicks the car into turn 1. Gets on the power quite early there. Car looks quite stable actually on traction there for the Ferrari. Man takes a lot of curb there, riding that into turn 2, just obviously minimising the turn-in entry and perhaps straight in on exit for him. But I mean, if I did that, I'd just be spinning off into the distance as we come through turn 4. Just about keeps you within track limits there. But it's been a good, well, so far so good here for Jude. Through turn 5 now, he kicks out, but they're getting completely out of the way as we now make the way through the chicane. A little bit unsettled, I think, from the middle part of the chicane there. The car not quite responding to the turn-in, but it's not been a bad effort so far from Jude. But let's see what that middle split is. We're looking to be at like a 53 flat, maybe high 52s. It's a 52.8, so far so good here for Jude. So this final, I'm hoping I'm not going to commentators curse him here. I have a tendency to doing that. But 2 corners to go for the EVR man. His teammate on P13 at the moment, Jude. We are at the back of the grid at the moment, into the final corner, keeping it as tight to the apex as we can. I'll use what battery is left. Where are we going to end up? And it's P2. It's a good effort there from Jude. He's done what he needed to do. He's now got to sit and wait, as we now have 20 drivers.
Zyros is in, so everything we were saying about TF10 already being on the back foot. Can he get a lap in, Zyros? No, I don't think he can. He'll just get his setup on a race setup, more ideally, and start from the back of the field. To be fair, his teammate Morgan is also down there as well. The 2 FRT cars on flying laps at the minute, starting with Quantum. He's coming round turn number 2 now and down through 3. He has been very competitive so far in this session. He was last week as well. Langman has retired. Quite sure where that is on track. I think he has just stopped somewhere on track. It looks like turn 3 where V-Cub's come to a stop. It's not a crash, is it? Very unusual if it is.
On board with Ryzen, and it is a crash. He's gone off at the exit of turn 2 and he's missing a wheel. So it is a crash.
Right, Quantum has backed out and his teammate now coming through. That is Max Power. Can he go up the order here? He's in 13th and he is almost 0.2 of a second up on his lap. The 53.1 in the middle sector, so this isn't going to maybe not put him too high up the top 10, but he'll want to get in there and apply some pressure on the cars around him nevertheless. Into the final corner then, try not to touch the grass on the entry. Nicely done. Rounded the final corner and Max Power goes up into P10, so still potentially going to drop a few extra positions down the order and maybe not the lap time he would have wanted.
Yeah, I mean, you know, an improvement is an improvement. I suppose you could say, well, yeah, with his team up in P4 at the moment and he's the best part of a quarter of a second. Quantum, who's going for one more final run now, he'll certainly want to go a bit quicker as Ryzen completes his lap time, goes into P5, and Kazi in the second EVR car goes into P6. So EVR turning up finally in this in his final attempt. But there goes Oscar now. Sorry, no, not Oscar. There goes Oscar back into P2 at least. It was Franek who provisionally just got ahead of him, and it's now a VNT front row lockout at the moment. And, well, what can Volokongan do? He's up on his lap time, but only by 3/4 of a tenth, but he could get himself in amongst the mix. Where's he going to be? It's only the second row for Volokongan, so at the moment, VNT are locking out this front row.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's roles reversed on the race results from last week. VNT in the 1-2 spots, SCI in the 3-4 spots. What a lap as well from Franek. He's P5. Quantum went around on this lap, so he will start no higher than 7th. Still not sure who's to come here. Andrea is next across the 90 bumps. Typical down 1 place and takes P11 himself. Max Power obviously not going again. Predestinato had already set his lap time, so this isn't an improvement. So to my knowledge, that is qualifying complete. And Ventari have taken a literal revenge on the race results from last week. But we mustn't forget, it's their second pole position of the season in 2 rounds. Marlon was on pole last week. He fell to 3rd in the end. But this, a much better start for the team, being 1-2 instead of 1-9.
Indeed it is, and that's the big difference there, obviously, is getting that 1-2, and obviously the both cars on the front row of the grid, you've got that buffer, you've got your teammate there alongside you, and they can work together against the two SCI drivers. Obviously, the race start will be something else, we'll have to see what sort of shenanigans we might get into turn one, but that is job one done for Ventari, but obviously we still have, what is it, 35 racing laps, I think, if memory serves me right here, for the Grand Prix. A lot can happen in that time. We don't know what the weather's going to be. We could have safety cars. We could have virtual safety cars. We're just going to have to wait and see. But at least on the positive side for TF10 is at least they do have their second driver in, even if he is starting P20. But at least it means he's got a chance to climb up the field. Because it is, remember, guys, top 14 here get points at the end of the day.
Yeah, top 14. So a... you could say a fairer point system. A lot more drivers getting chances to score points. I mean, just want to point that out as well. Second, third, and fourth, all Norwegian. So I'm looking forward to watching the race between the three of them. I did forget that even Kanai was Norwegian himself. So yeah, that is going to be a great battle, not between the two teams, but the three fellow countrymen as well. Very close, about a tenth separating third down to P8. That's Ryzen. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit further just so we cover all the grids. In fact, it's only half a second down to P17. So again, any small mistakes there, drivers will be feeling frustrated, and then always seems to raise that tension level a little bit more going into the Grand Prix, which, you are right, it will be 35 laps. The sun's out, not much really required in terms of setup adjustments then, and yeah, we're focusing on those two teams once again.
Indeed we are, and well, yeah, it is pretty much, like I said, yeah, same as last week. This time at least, with Venturi having both drivers on the front row, they do have that buffer. But again, like as I just said, we'll see how this race starts go between the pair of them. But we can't ignore, obviously, those in behind them. There was Franek in a P5 at the end, Jude in P6 with a, excellent final attempt for EVR. Quantum, making a bit of a mess of his final run there, but we can't discount him nonetheless. I mean, it's anybody's game, as we know. I mean, there is a few little shake-ups, I'd probably say. Some people I thought may have been a little higher. But, I mean, even EVR, 6th and 9th, isn't exactly terrible. That's better than last week's qualifying. But can they, again, transition that into the race? We'll just have to wait and see what both Jude and Kazi can do. But, yeah, I'm just interested to see, this SCI VNT battle at the front. I think that's going to be I expect one of the SCI drivers, whether it's Volakongan or Oscar, to put pressure on the first VNT driver to try and split them up.
Yeah, this will be an aggressive start, you would suspect, and of course it's a really wide turn one, isn't it? You can get three cars, all side by side, potentially even a fourth. Sometimes we can go wrong. We've seen it over the years. 2021, of course, ringing a bell for almost everybody on the topic of Hungary incidents. Franek, of course, will just be the bystander in all this. He starts in P5. What's his approach to this race, of course, running for IRT? They had a great qualifying last week. They had a decent result as well, looking individually at Nick, who, again, was just kind of in their own battle with the likes of EVR and Schumacher last week.
Indeed, yeah. But I mean, I think IRT are probably going to be a little disappointed in the fact that they've only got, well, Siebes in P10. It's not exactly awful, but it's smack bang in the middle of the grid. I think they'll have liked him to be a little bit further up close to his teammate, as Franek actually did mention in the chat that he binned pole position. So perhaps, yeah, surely maybe have the one lap pace, but again, transition that into the race. We'll just have to see what he can do and see if he can mix it in with, VNT and SCI. I did tell the drivers to ready up at 28, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be going any second now, and indeed we are.
Here we go then, it's time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, the TTC Premier Tier. We're underway in Budapest, and it's a good getaway from Alessin at the front of the field. Bit of a timing glitch, we'll see who emerges in front. It is still Alessin, but look who's alongside and almost ahead of the second Red Bull there. Here comes Oscar then, around the outside. No, sorry, that's Volakongan. The timing glitch has caught me out there, but still, great defending from his Norwegian compatriot, and he holds on to that VNT 1-2 at the front of the field. SCI still trying to hold on, in fact, to their 3-4 as wheel-to-wheel Oscar and Jude Frederick, who goes around the outside at turn 4. Brilliant move from the British driver, and already a Ferrari splitting the two Mercedes. It's Red Bull and VNT at the front of the field ahead of Volokongan, Frederick and Oscar in P5. Good start for Ryzen, who maintains that P6 ahead of Quantum. Franek's dropped a few places, but he is on medium tyres, and nobody has a tyre advantage at this stage. It's a complete free-for-all as Oscar has got past Jude Frederick.
Yeah, great move there from Oscar. I was watching on board with that, and yeah, round the outside after the chicane, so through turns 8 and 9 there for the SEM, and he had to get that move done. As yeah, unfortunately we had a little bit of a ghosting glitch at the start. Don't worry everybody, ghosting is not on. It was just a nice little glitch. It put Oscar at the front of the queue, but it seems to have sorted itself out through the end of that first set to where VNT had got the job done. There was a little bit of a threat there from Volokongan on the outside of turn 1, but they managed to hold that off, and they do maintain that 1-2 as they did. Quantum there in the background looking for a little look at the inside of Ryzen there, but he's having absolutely none of it, and it is formation as we were, but this is extremely tight. But yeah, as you said, everybody on the medium compounder tyres. No real strategy is going to be involved here tonight. It might be just a simple case of overcut and overcut, and tyre delta, pad versus wheel drivers. Who is the tyre whisperer?
Biggest loser on the first lap, Franek Jazorni down 3 places. Biggest winner, both Ryzen up into P6, gaining 2 positions, and crowding as well from P19 up into P17. It's TF10 right at the back of the field at the moment. And also another team, the VCarb duo, not scoring any points. That is, of course, the All Elite Racing Team, AERT. I had to remember that briefly, but all good. Right, end of lap 2 of 35. I believe there was an issue with the top left saying that lap 1 was lap 2. No, this is definitely lap 2 now. DRS now enabled, of course. Going on to the 3rd lap, we shouldn't see too much movement, especially at the front of the field, because it is totally as we were. Oscar doing a good job to fight back the position that he had initially lost to Jude Frederick.
Indeed, yeah, like I said, it was a great move there from Oscar, as that was Ryzen having a cheeky little look down the inside there of Jude, who I don't know broke early, but the Haas driver there got a little half chance there, sneaking his nose down the inside, but manages to back out of it in the end. But could have been a little bit of wheel contact there, well, front wing to rear right tyre there between the two drivers, but nothing came of it, so it's as we were. Max Power there in the background in P13, faking a move to the inside turn 4 there, and typical in P12. But yeah, Max Power not had the best of starts himself. With his teammate in P7, FRT would like him to get further up the field, but it is only lap 3, we still have 32 more laps to go, but it is, no, everyone's got DRS, it is literally just a VNT train.
It is, so the entire field within 9 seconds at this stage. It's just one car after the other in these off-board shots. Of course, it's a great spectacle, but it's also very, very processional, as we all know and love on F1 25, if you like. Going on to lap 4, and expect more of the same, really. Lesson from Even Knai, the top 2, Volokongan and Oscar 3rd and 4th. Will we see any lunges? It could be a change of position for the IRT duo. No, they were the closest 2 on circuit, and a bit of a wide moment there for Franek. They've got to maybe just watch out for that, because if Franek obviously loses ground to the cars in front, then maybe Seed would want to take on the responsibility of being the lead car, which I know will be potentially frustrating for Franek, being the car that qualified in P5, and saying he bottled pole.
Indeed, yeah. No, well, I didn't quite see what happened to him on that first lap. I'm guessing he just got caught out in turn 1. But yeah, the fact is he's now with his teammates. This is it's what they would have wanted, but would like to have been at least maybe in 5th and 6th, not in 8th and 9th. Yeah, he's managed to close in those few tenths that he'd lost through the first turn, so it's back as you were. Max Power actually seems to have lost a little bit this lap, so getting quite close to being outside that 1 second window, but I do believe he should be fine, should gain that back out again. But I mean, you just look at everybody's battery usage, and they're all, well, at least as I'm flicking through, they've all got a high amount of battery. And in fact, the lowest that I've seen is actually Morgan down in P19, who has 51%.
Yeah, it's very much quite simple to recharge around here. A lot of places where you can lift off. Big heavy braking zone into turn 1, bit of deployment though, just so nobody's getting caught napping into the first corner, as we have often seen in these trains. Sometimes it's just the difference in battery that can be make or break a position here or there. Andrea, now the car putting Sieb under a little bit of pressure, but again just getting into the 2-3 sort of range, and then by the time they get to the middle sector the gaps will open up as the cars begin to follow closely. It just caught Quantum on the helicam. Yeah, you could just see how the car lazily went through turn 4, losing about a 1/10.5 there. So yeah, it's just something they've got to put up with, as we've all know, seen in the mini-series, we've seen it in round 1. It's yeah, it's something you've just got to kind of deal with, this dirty air problem, and see who is the best at managing it. Ultimately is the car that is going to do the best. Lap 5 of 35, not a lot really happening, Bobberts, that's no secret.
No, definitely no secret, and no real surprise. I mean, we know Hungary even, you know, in real life F1. I mean, actually, saying that this year, there was actually quite a few instances.
Pit
That is
stop.
a Ferrari
No?
of Jude coming into the pits. Now, this is it. Now, we said we saw this last week from one of the Polymassi's teammate for BRC. Going on to what was a 2-stop strategy. Is this the same thing we are seeing here from Jude? Are we rolling the dice here to go for a 2-stop strategy, or just do, well, we're not doing 30 laps on the hard tyre,
No
let's
way.
be brutally honest. This is going to be a 2-stop strategy and try something different, as we actually had an overtake there. That is Predestinato getting ahead of Crowding. I thought Predestinato was higher up, actually. I'll be brutally honest. Has he lost places and I've not seen? I'm going on the complete wrong thing. The answer is no. He's actually gained 1 place, so don't know. But he is actually now just outside of DRS. But yeah, let's keep an eye out on Jude there. I wonder if his teammate Kazi will do the same thing, or if he's going to stay in the DRS train. But I think the one thing we're going to have to keep an eye out as well with this race is not just the fact, obviously, you know, with the rear tyres, I'd probably say in particular here on that front right tyre, I would say, is engine temperatures. You know, we're going to be so close to the car in front, or even multiple cars in front, the engine temperatures are going to be through the roof, unless your name is VNT Allison, and you don't have to worry about that at all. But everybody else, and obviously besides Jude now, who is, as you can see, if we just look at that interval time, is gaining like an absolute rocket on this lap. And he's now not the only driver to be doing this. Ryzen is also throwing the dice and is doing the same thing. We can see that Jude on his brand new hard tyres, he's already gained well over a second now that they've come up to temperature. So maybe these hard tyres are the way to go. Is a 2-stop strategy the best strategy for this race?
This is exciting now, isn't it? Jude Frederick obviously going past BRC, rising the car that he was in front of in this race. And, well, this has triggered some activity, hasn't it, in the from the EVR strategy department. Intrigued to hear chat thoughts on this. Silo saying 2-stop only works if your pace is insane. I think Jude Frederick certainly feels that he's got a little bit to unlock, and I think equally a lot of people in the top 10, perhaps just, you know, again, suffering with the high engine temperatures, watching their wear go up and going, yeah, let's let's get into the pit lane, let's get some clean air and push, and maybe force some other cars to do the same, and start that domino effect of cars coming in for a 2-stop. I've not actually seen a race yet on this game. I know it's very conversational, is it a 1-stop or a 2-stop? Most of the time it's usually just a 1-stop and you get away just fine. This is the first case of actually seeing cars commit to a 2-stop in this sort of competition. And there you go, there's another reactor to the situation. IRTC is in, as is Ryzen's teammate, Predestinato, and Morgan as well.
I was thinking, is he going to say it correctly? He did say it correctly. There was me thinking, is he going to? The answer is yes, but there's the facts on the screen there for you. Jude Frederick, fastest lap of the race. He's now 6.5 seconds off the back of Zyros in front of him. And I think that's a 3-second gain near enough in one lap alone off the second, what was the second TF10 driver, with Morgan now going into the box. But BRC now, both drivers committing to this 2-stop strategy. So it'll be very interesting to see. We have now 5 drivers committing to this. Obviously, Jude being the first of them. He'll be all right when he gets to Zyros. Zyros has not got DRS. He's 2.5 seconds off the back of crowding in front of him. But it's when he gets to these cars that are in this train is where it's going to be slightly more difficult. But the cars are now starting to spread out. Just that tiny little bit with these drivers pitting. Obviously, Typical now does not have DRS off the back of Kazi, as the same with Mateo Manga off the back of Max Power. And again, this is from the cars in front of them boxing. So this is breaking the field up. So this might come into their advantage. As we have our first time penalty of the race there, Joseph from Morgan with a 3-second for corner cutting too much. As Kazi now comes into the box.
He was running down towards the back of the field anyway, so immediately that's not going to make too much of a difference to the points paying position. Still just watching on Jude Frederick. He had a bit of a tank slapper coming out of the penultimate corner. Ryzen is now the car that's absolutely flying, even with the 1 lap tyre delta to him. He has set the fastest lap to the race, and now it's in the DRS of the Ferrari. He was really gaining a lot of top end speed down the start finish straight. Kasi and Digio now coming out of the pit lane, and Predestinato has got ahead there of the Williams car. So yeah, that might be another battle as well, again with that 1 lap tyre delta coming into play. Seems rather significant around here. Doesn't really surprise me.
No, it doesn't. I mean, we know this, from, well, I think it's more circuit dependent. Obviously, fresh tyres are always going to be quicker, but on a track like this where you've got a lot of traction zones, a lot of slow corners, and a lot of medium speed corners, the brand new tyres, especially, I think it's the C4 or I don't actually, no, it's not C4. What am I about? That's I think the C3 tyre is the medium tyre for this. I might be completely wrong with that, so please somebody correct me if I am. Yes, please check Wikipedia. Yeah, it's definitely making a huge difference. I mean, look at this now. Jude Frederick and Ryzen now a second and a half off the back of Zyros. They're going to close in on him through the first sector, I would have thought. Just with this extra pace advantage that they've got. Max Power now over 2 seconds off the back of Andrea. But obviously, all these drivers that are staying out are committing to this one stop, and I believe this is what we now have. We have 7 drivers potentially going for a 2-stop strategy. Here comes Ryzen with the DRS down the inside of Jude Frederick, who went to the inside layer, onto the middle of the track to try and defend. But that is the difference of 1 lap pressure hard tyres for you. And that is the BRC driver getting ahead of Jude Frederick in the end. But he's now stuck on the back of Zyros on these medium tyres. He's got to burn his battery up the hill and into turn 4 if he wants to make this strategy work. That was very close to the back of him. I thought they were going to touch. And you know what? Zyros didn't have to let them both through, but he did. Fair play to him there. It's affected his own team. But, that's sometimes you like to see, drivers getting out of the way to not mess up other drivers' strategies.
Yeah.
Not what Smeggy has just said in the chat. You can't really say that.
Well, I won't repeat what he said. Just to not be accused of bullying TF10. I'd never bully TF10, especially not after their calamitous world qualifying. Never would I do that. But yeah, they're back now free to race, if you like, and I wonder if Jude Frederick welcomes this, being overtaken ever so slightly, because the burden isn't on him right now to be pushing. He can just DRS along on Ryzen, who is still showing good pace for the meantime. Next up, they have Crowding and Langman, and there's no real activity in the pit lane anymore. These cars now committing to the one-stop strategy. Zyros has come into the pit lane as his race unravelling very, very quickly indeed. Didn't make qualifying, and now looking like it's going to be the back 2 places occupied by TF10 in this race. Typical has just been overtaken by Mattia Manga in a recent position change. That's TRT up into 7th and 9th in this race. I've just been called fat, thanks for that.
I know, I did see that. I mean, that's just not needed, is it? That's
not nice.
No, I'm not going to say what I said earlier, but after I already did a relation joke. We don't need to repeat that once again. But there goes Ryzen getting ahead of Crowding. Yeah, indeed, speak of the devil. But that is now P12 for Ryzen. And here comes Jude Frederick now, all over the back of the racing ball and down the inside into turn 12 we go. And that is job done there for Jude Frederick. He's got to stay with Ryzen. And he's just within that DRS zone at the moment, even with these 1 lap, older tyres. He has been losing time to the Haas driver in front of him. I think he got him within the detection point. Yes, he did, but he's now outside of that 1 second, but at least he can use it now to close back in once again, as Ryzen now closes in on his next victim, which is the second racing bull, which is Crowding's teammate of Langman.
bloody Nora, Jude Frederick has just broken late. So late on the brakes.
Oh no.
Oh no, you can't make it up, can you? This is the bit where I don't have him as an EA friend, so not a lot I can do unless his teammate Destinato can save him in this situation. Oh, that's so unlucky, and Jude Frederick will capitalise on the 100 AI that he knows he's probably a little bit quicker than, and overtake the stricken Haas.
That is so unfortunate. Do you know what it is? That's repeat to what happened to Polymassey last week. He had the exact same thing. He disconnected last week, and it's now that's 2 in 2 for BRC, unfortunately. And I did look through my friends list. I do not have Ryzen on there, so unfortunately I can't add him back. As I said, so yeah, maybe Predestinato might get his teammate back in, but he's got his own race to run at the same time. But yeah, with Ryzen running what was for a net P5, as we now have the first pit stoppers in the top group, as it were, and that is Andrea and Franek pitting at the end of lap 12, going to go to the end on these hard compound tyres, but that's 23 racing laps. They might struggle towards the end, but at least now they're going to have the fresher tyres compared to this case to Jude only. But you can see the undercut that I want to see what the undercut that Jude has over Franek and Andreas. We have a yellow flag, and that is, I believe, was that Morgan going for a spin? It was Morgan going for a spin.
It's about 13 seconds, the gap between Jude Frederick and Franek.
It's half a pit stop.
Yes, that
if
gives
not
you
more,
an idea.
Yeah, if not more actually. So, Jay, you're asking in the chat, is this a 2-stop? It's a 1 or a 2-stop this race. 7 drivers are going for this 2-stop strategy. One, unfortunately, has lagged out. That is Ryzen, who's actually, well, he's lost at least about the best part of 3.5, 4 seconds so far since he's disconnected. But yeah, 7 drivers, with Jude Frederick being the first of them now. On this 2-stop strategy, and the rest of them are on a 1-stop, with Franek and Andrea being the first ones to do that, to pit up for the 1-stoppers, as we have the race leader of Allison. We're not said much about in this race, he's just led from the front. He comes into the pit, as does Quantum.
The driver that's led all 13 laps so far now goes in for his strategical tyre change of choice, otherwise known as a pit stop. Here he goes then, onto the hard tyres, committing to that 1-stop. His teammate stays out, as do the 2 SCI cars, who, as we know, went a little bit longer in last week's race in Spa, paid dividends for them. 1-2 in the end. They will have to do something similar to overcome VNT and take back-to-back 1-2s, wheel-to-wheel on the first corner though. Andrea's on the outside line. Oh, that was close, wasn't it? He's very lucky, in fact, Alessin, but he has got ahead of the Italian driver. That would have been another obstacle, if you like, because Alessin has been the pace setter all evening long.
Indeed it is, but have you noticed that Franek, with that 1-lap undercut, is ahead? And that was the difference between what? First to, I think Franek was what, 5th? That's the best part of
5th, yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 seconds that gap was roughly between the two of them. So that is a huge undercut, but is the best part of 1 lap. So with SCI not pitting one of their drivers, the second, I mean, even whoever the first one is going to be, you know, falling down the field a little bit. But the second one is also going to be. But saying that, the top 3 stay out, as does Max Power. They're going to go a little bit longer and have fresher hard tyres at the end, hopefully to pay a little bit of dividends towards the end of this race. I'm not too sure. I mean, well, saying that though, Allison is technically actually stuck in traffic, as Franek has caught to the back of Digio here, who is on that 2-stop strategy. He's got 4-lap older tyres, so they're not exactly going off, but you can see the pace difference there between Franek and Allison as they both clear the Williams driver there, and Andrea will be wanting to do the exact same. But yeah, a little bit slightly confused as to why the top 4 and crowding still have not pitted. As down the inside goes Andrea into turn 2, pretty much just been left the door wide open there by Digio, and Quantum is going to do the same as we come up the hill. Battery being deployed there from the Kicks Arbor, but no, Digio actually burns his own battery and stays ahead into turn 4. So Quantum is going to have to stay behind him just a little bit longer, and he's going to lose that time to the train in front.
If you can, sort BRC_Ryzen, if you can.
I did try to already, but it wasn't having it. He's not on my list. I can only invite. In fact, he's my invite. My inviting requests are not working. it is not. Yeah, my friends list is working,
This game,
but not my invites and requests. So I cannot do anything, I'm afraid.
Right, pit stops. Teammate in. Even Kanai is in for a set of hard compound tyres. Oscar is also in, as is Max Power. So 3 more cars towards the front of the field, making their pit stop. And look at not only the time difference between the two VNT cars, but the number of positions. So extraordinary what we're seeing here this evening in terms of undercuts in Hungary. About 2.5 seconds on that initial lap, as we discovered from Franek. As well, 3 seconds the lap time, the interval difference between Digio and even Kanai at this stage as well. Work to do. Battling going on. That's because Ryzen is dropping down a few positions. Alessin ahead of Franek and still in the net lead of this race, but Volokongan doing what Volokongan does best, going longer on the hard tyres, the medium tyres, sorry, for that tyre delta on the hards.
Indeed, yes, he is the last driver to make a pit stop in this race. But where is he going to come out? I think, if I'm honest, he's going to come out behind Typical. You know, with Oscar coming out in P13, just ahead of Mateo Manga and Typical. We know how much quicker these hard compound tyres are. He's going to have a lot of work to do here. But you know, they had the pace last week to do it, but they only had to overtake one car. Did Volokongan, and that was Marlon. This week is a completely different story. Yes, we've got drivers at the front of the field who are on a 2-stop strategy, as we have Steve now taking the lead from Jude Frederick. So you've got the top 3 as it now stands on this 2-stop strategy, with Allison the best part of 4.5 seconds behind Kazi. So he's going to close that gap up, you know, at a rate of knots, as Morgan has decided to call it a day. He had picked up 2 time penalties. He was struggling all race and has become the first retirement. His teammate there in P18 isn't really going to help either, as there is that's just Evan Kanai going ahead of the unfortunate disconnected Rising. But at least Allison has now got ahead of Franek, so he is the lead driver now on this one-stop strategy. Predestinato there in the middle. Between the two of them, with Andrea and Quantum in behind. Then you have that gap to Digio on his 2-stop strategy. But then you've got Evan Kanai, Oscar, Mateo Manga and Typical in the next train.
Yeah, Volokonga behind all of these cars that were down in P10. Yeah, again, so much change in the order from just that 1 or 2 stop choice. Read the chat, Bobbert.
I have seen it. Yeah. Luke, you would be privileged when I decide to call it a day that I come and commentate for you. And you know, when that day comes, I know where to be put, and that's back in my tier. I will stay in my tier, but as a commentator, when that day comes. But if I sound 40, then so be it. I certainly don't look 40. I've been told I look, you know, younger than what I actually am. So there are two words I want to say to you, but I got in trouble last week for swearing, so I will keep it to a minimum, even if it is what the fans want to hear.
Wow, what year is it? Behan in the live chat. Did you know race car backwards spells race car? No, I didn't. I did. Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah,
Quantum
exactly.
and Andrea overtook Predestinato. They both made that move at 1. Was watching that, so hopefully none of you missed it. Volokonga now on the back of Typical for his first shot of an overtake, and to try and recoup some of those lost track positions from pitting later off the medium tyres. Just got to collect channel points. It's infinite on the TTC channel. I think I have about 15k on main account, which isn't that many compared to some people. We have some real loyal supporters, don't we?
Yeah, we certainly do, and all those who don't want to spend points. If your name is Oscar, that I noticed at the start of the stream wanting a fact, you're meant to be race, obviously at that point qualifying Oscar, you're not getting a fact if you don't have the points. Jay there in the chat saying that I actually look 47. I mean, if I looked 47, I'd have a lot more grey hairs, and I've only got a few, so deal with it. The answer is I certainly don't look 47. Here comes Volokonga now, trying to send it down the inside of Typical into turn 2. The side-by-side coming through the exit, but the extra, just about there, cuts the nose off of the Williams there. But that is move done for Volokonga, and he's now got the second Williams of Digio in front of him, and he'll want to get a move done as soon as he can there, because Mateo Manga is on 5 lap pressure tyres compared to the lead Williams driver here, and he's just going to pull away through this middle sector. Out in front, Sieber's now taken the lead, and Jude Frederick has now dropped down to P3. He's now behind his teammate, so that being the first driver to make that undercut and two-stop strategy, it worked initially for him, but he's now paying the price.
He is. Here comes Volokongan on Digio down the inside. Can he take his second Williams in a lap? Not quite committing. Ooh, I'm very surprised actually Volokongan hasn't deployed there on the exit of the corner. Yes, I know he gets the DRS now and is likely to make the move at turn 1. But if Digio had any ounce of common sense, he probably wouldn't overtake Volokongan, because that would only hamper his teammate as well. At last, here comes Volokongan. There he goes, down the inside at turn 1. Quantum is ahead of Franek. That's a significant move for net P2 in this race for the one-stoppers. It looks like the two-stoppers are finally about to be caught. RT Sieb and Kasi. Frederick has gone in again for his second and final pit stop. He's all the way down now in P17. Digio lets through his teammate. He got overtaken by Max Power as well. And here comes another car. AERT's Langman can't get down the inside at turn 4. It's getting all chaotic all of a sudden, and coincidentally, that's because the second pit stops in this race have begun.
Exactly, that is exactly right there, Joseph. You bang on with that. But yeah, why I went ooh was because Max Powell made a double overtake on the Williams pair going down the pit straight and into turn 1. Later in the brakes, I thought he was going to go into the side of Digio at the time, but no, he managed to get the move done cleanly, and it was a nice, good double overtake. That is not the track. That is not the track there, Langman. That's heading you towards whatever Hungary's neighbouring country is.
Which direction? There's a few.
Through turn 11. Yeah, exactly. That's why I was trying to think as to which one that is. Excuse me. As Kazi, Predestinato and Sieb all come into the box. I thought Kazi might have gone an extra lap, but I'm guessing he wants to stick with Sieb. He'd caught up to him, and I think he just wants to now stick with the IRT man as they make their second and final stop. So it is back as we were. The positions have now sorted themselves out between the 1 and 2 stoppers. So Sieb has actually managed to just about stay ahead of Jude Frederick here. We are side by side coming into turn 2. Jude's tyres are going to be much warmer, but that's contact. Warmer tyres, but that is certainly contact between the pair of them. I mean, if I was Jude, I'd just let him go. He's going to be the quicker driver on that, even on that 1 lap fresher tyres. But he's got the move done. But that was almost tears there for Sieb, and maybe even for Jude himself.
It was. I think Jude was taking that risk, braking as late as he did, and almost kind of cutting across the front right tyre. And the minute tyre hooking starts happening, it's totally unpredictable, this game. It was a huge risk for Jude Frederick, but he gets away with it and up into P12. And of course, he is hoping that being in that position, Kasi will have a slightly easier time in getting past Sieb, and then it is teamwork until the end of the race for the EVR team that have committed both of their drivers to a 2-stop strategy. At the front of the field, Alessin has the biggest gap by a long way. He's enjoyed all race, 3.2 seconds to Quantum, who is on the pad. Some have suggested he might struggle towards the end of the race. I know it is an absolute nightmare to keep consistent on a set of wearing hard tyres. Do a damn good job if he does, though. Mattia Manga overtaken there by Volokongan. The SCI boys are now almost metaphorically nose to tail, but still could see some more action here as he tries to get past Evan Kanai, his fellow countryman, but he can't do so as he's also staring at the rear wing of Andrea and also Franek, who pit a little bit earlier.
Indeed, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised actually that both Evan Kanai and Oscar have not got the move done yet on the likes of Andrea and Franek. You know, they're on 3-lap older tyres, and we've seen the difference that what 1-lap fresher tyres can do. So these two have got to get this move done and get it done very quickly. Volokongan is actually, you know, even with his 1-lap fresher tyres, has gained about 8 tenths on this lap alone since he overtook Mateo Manga. So Volokongan again, with the fresher tyres, he's making his way back up towards the front. He's not in P7 at the moment, but yeah, that lead now stretching by a couple of tenths on this lap between Allison and Quantum. You know, Quantum, even on his one lap fresher tyres, being at, well, actually no, they're on the same now that it's just clicked over. I shouldn't really have paid attention and looked at that. But, you know, he is on a pad, as we know. He is going to struggle a little bit. But look at this, Evan Kanai and Oscar, they just can't get close enough because they've all got the DRS. And it is Quantum who's dragging them all along.
Yeah, this is a brilliant race at the front of the field, it has to be said. The 1-2 stops, the undercuts, the overcuts. We're seeing all sorts of different strategical outcomes in this race as RTC has got past Jude Frederick. So everything I was saying about Frederick having the track position maybe in support of Carsey, that has gone completely TITS up. So we are family friendly around here.
Just about. It is a PG stream here tonight. It certainly
Yes,
wasn't last week. You know, last week was the 12 rated stream. You're allowed one swear word. That makes it a 12 rated stream at least.
Well,
so,
hang on,
you know.
it's 9 PM in a minute, so legally we are to do what we like.
Yeah, F you, everybody. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to get cancelled again. As Zyros there getting his second time penalty, I think, and that just compounds the misery of TF10's day, I'm afraid. You know, Morgan already out of the race. Zyros there down in P16 and not going to score points. Just, yeah, as I said, compounding the misery as Steve has now caught up to the back of the first of the one-stop runners, and that is Langman for P11. We've got 7 lap freshened tyres, we've got the DRS. That's an easy move there for Steve. He's up to P11, typical now. His next target before a 3.5 second gap to max power.
I wouldn't say this race would make the iceberg at the minute. Another iceberg has come out today. Wow, it's all that everybody's been talking about. There are some funny things on there, it has to be said. 68 of you watching. A lot for the Premier tier, it has to be said. Thank you to all who have spent your Wednesday. 69, yeah. Yes, funny number. You can say that because it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, unlucky season. Oh, max power there with the first big time penalty of this race. That is no disrespect to Zyros, but that is a car that's, you know, fighting for points at the moment, and you know, in P9, I mean, he's not going to lose a position at the moment, but with the likes of Steve and Jude Frederick, that will be closing in at a rate of knots. It is certainly not going to help. I mean, Typical is really struggling at this moment in time. He's just dropping time hand over fist to Mateo Manga and to Max Power, but Steve now all over the back of the Williams driver. He's got a full battery. He's actually trying to stick his nose down the inside through the final corner, just showing the extra grip that he's got compared to the Williams driver. Well, there we go. There's the DRS. There's the battery birds. That is moved on, as it is for the 2 Ferrari boys getting ahead of Langman. They are now P12 and P13. I will also want to get ahead of Typical as soon as possible, but we are now 5 seconds near enough off the back of Max Power. We have just under 11 laps to go here. I don't see these guys on this 2-stop strategy getting any higher than P8, if I'm honest.
No, I think I agree with you. Again, it's just coming back to, yes, the one-stop is brilliant if you want to suffer the entire race managing worn tyres. But it's also so much quicker, as actually Franek has got past Quantum and Andrea almost getting through as well. That's a really unusual place, actually. Here comes even Kanai to the outside, and the Red Bull trying to squeeze past the McLaren at the penultimate corner, turn 13 here. He has done so. Andrea getting squeezed to the outside and almost into the markings of the pit lane. Here comes now SCI Oscar, who's looking to capitalise on this, but completely missed that. A totally unorthodox part of the circuit for any moves to happen, and now it's all continuing down the start-finish straight. Andrea trying to get past even Kunai. Quantum's edged ahead of Franek, and he's tried to commit here, the Italian driver, on 3-lap older hard tyres than his rival in the VNT Red Bull. Going around the outside now at turn 2. He's got to watch for Oscar on his inside. He's there, I tell ya, and he's got the move done. Andrea yields, and he splits now the 2 SCI cars, and he got out of the way, Oscar. He thinks that was potentially a push to pass, and fair play to him. He's not going to chance the penalty. That would do more harm for him when he gets punished.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I saw anything wrong. Maybe there was a bit of contact on the left rear wheel on Andrea that sent him wide, perhaps. So I guess play it safe then, rather than, yeah, you know, get punished later on and into the steward's inquiry. But I think that all started from a mistake from Quantum. I'm not too sure where in the middle sector it happened. But he's now got back ahead of Franek, but he's now a further second behind Allison than what he was on the, 2 laps ago now. So I think, yeah, there was a mistake that came in there from the Kick Sauber that started this whole shenanigans. But I mean, look at this now. Max Power's now only 1.1 seconds off the back of Oscar. He might get, he's not going to quite get the DRS on this lap, but Sieb is actually making a charge here. He's pulled away from the EVR drivers. Maybe, I might eat my words here, but maybe there's now a chance.
There might be a chance as the battling continues. Volokonga to the inside of Andrea, who was still keeping his nose in at the outside of turn 1. Oscar, he's already tried to be on top 10 respect and beautiful football moments part 7. He can't make the same move as he attempted just one lap ago. Oscar in a bit of a predicament here. He's made the choice to hand the positions back. He's now got to actually try and make this move on track, and Andrea is being really, really stubborn about this, as he is well within his rights to do. He's trying to help Mattia catch up as well. Mattia, sorry. Same thing.
Yeah. What are Italians, renowned for besides their food and their wine? It's their stubbornness, and that is their determination to just go for anything. If there's a little chance of a move, they will go for it. Just speak to Antonio Giovinazzi; he can tell you all about that. But yeah, so fair play to Andrea. He really tried to stick with it. He stuck his nose in. In the end, he's lost out. He's down in P6. Oscar now closing in on the back of him, and I think now you'd have thought that these fresher tyres should start to kick in. But I'm going to go back on board with Sieb here, who's got a full battery once again. He's onto the first of these drivers. It's Mattia Manga, who's not got the DRS. And here we go, battery being burnt, DRS. This is the third or fourth overtake. I've seen Sieb do exactly the same thing. We're now up into P9, as there goes Oscar, getting the move done on Andrea this time around cleanly into turn 1. He's up into P6. His teammate is ahead of him. But I don't see them catching Allison. I think Allison has, pitted at the right time. He had the traffic to his advantage. He's just got to keep it clean, and I think victory should be his. But I could, again, eat my own words.
Still could be that random element of punctures if they reach 80%. No, I don't think it will get that high. No way, even on the one stop. Zyros setting the fastest lap of the race. He's on a fresh set of medium tyres. That means absolutely niche in the grand scheme of things. Still have this DRS train led by Quantum, then Franek, Evan Kadai, Volokonga and Oscar 5th and 6th, and Andrea, Max Power and Sieb, and this is where things start to get challenging for Sieb. He's in a net P8 of course with the penalty to Max Power, but just how many overtakes can he make? 5 lap tyre advantage on Max Power, which once we start getting to this phase of the tyre wear, it doesn't feel like a lot. It's not as pronounced as it is 1 or 2 lap delta as soon as you come fresh out of the box.
I might disagree with that, but at the moment I think we'll have to, obviously we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens here, but I do think he's still going to have that tyre offset. He's still going to have that extra advantage, even with the cars in front having the DRS. Max Power now getting very close to the back of Andrea going into turn 2, and even he's got 3 lap fresher tyres to Andrea. So the fact that Sieb's got 8 lap fresher tyres to Andrea should mean that he gets a move done. I'm not sure that Allison's made a mistake, because that gap has now gone back under 4 seconds, and we've lost 7/10 in the space of a lap. Unless Quantum has just found some insane pace all of a sudden. But that gap, back under 4 seconds once again. Maybe not all is lost, but you'd have thought that Allison should bring this home, really, for VNT. And after their, not really disappointment last week, they maybe would have liked to have finished, higher up the field after starting in pole position. They might at least get a victory here tonight. I see looking for a move there down the inside of turn 12, but thinks better of it. He's going to go for the usual run that he goes for. Get a better run out of the final corner with the DRS, and he's got once again a full battery to deploy here, whereas Max does not.
Yeah, there he goes. His battery management has been second to none in this race, IRTC, but Max Power, of course, still has some to play with. He also has DRS and Slipstream down the inside. Oh, please, if he would have attempted that, and I'll tell you what, Max Power's left a little bit of a car's mitt for him. He just saw Sieb really late in his mirrors, and we almost saw potentially overtake of the season just by pure aura. IRT Sieb's overtaking there. Not quite. He's still burning up the hill towards turn 4. Not quite going to make the move there. By the way, Luke complaining about adverts in the live chat. Insert the rapist search meme. You know that newsreader?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to explain memes to you, you see, you're a bit older.
Right, just because I'm older doesn't mean that I don't know what a meme is. Okay, I do know fine well what a meme is. You know, I'm still, you know, up to speed just about. You know, give me another few years, that might be a different story altogether. But for now, at least, I am up to date with just about everything. I'd like to say, as I see getting again very close to the back of that Kick Sauber's diffuser in front of him. Max Power's a little bit further back off Andrea than he was on the previous lap. Maybe this is Seeb's opportunity, but he's not had the best run through the final corner there. But we'll, I've gone on board with Kazi and not Seeb. That's not very good of me to have done that at all. Max Power not using any battery, but here he goes down the inside, late on the brakes. And you know what? Just about slide the car in. He kept it clean. Fair play. He went for the move there. Fair play to Max Power for leaving in the space. But just not quite. He's going to have to get Max Power out to the DRS, or at least Andrea, if he's going to have any opportunity. Gap now down to 3.2 at the front. Side by side. Yeah, I just saw that at the last second. The Volakonga trying to go for an outside move on Evan Kanai there, and just didn't pay off. But Volakonga now getting very, very feisty. He wants to get a podium finish for SCI if he can. But we've got 4.5 laps to go here. The gap is down to 3.1 at the front. Is Arsen's tyres going up quicker than Quantum's?
I don't know. It'd be very surprising if it is. It might be just them camera settings that nobody seems to like for a lesson. Typical 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Doesn't surprise me one bit. But the key battle here are top two teams in the championship. SCI and VNT have made contact in this race. Oh, we like contact. Lap 32 we're going on to now. Will we see another attempt at an overtake for IRTC? Will we see Volakonga try it again on his Norwegian comrades? Here we go then. IRTC, he's closer this time, 0.2 of a second. Max Power will see it coming. He goes down the inside. Oh, what a move! There was contact, but I do think the Aston Martin was ahead there. So he will claim that that position is rightfully his. That's the third time he's attempted that. It's Daniel Ricciardo-esque. It's brilliant. He's up into P8.
Indeed, it was bold, it was brilliant, and it was brave, and it wasn't damn right stupid even if we did slide into turn one. What it did do as well, though, was that because Max Power ghosted, Kazi was just able to drive clean around him, and he got, you know, he just took candy from a baby there, didn't have to do anything, and he's made his way up into P9. And keep in mind, he's on the same lap old tyres as to what Steve is as well, so let's see what the Ferrari man can do. Now, I mean, his teammate has just dropped off the face of the earth. I mean, it's only 2.5 seconds. You know, behind, but these dudes not really got the pace. Is that a switch between the SCI boys?
Team orders, woke.
Have we got damage that's not visible? Have we got damage that's not visible on the car?
Just talking in first person, bloody we. Oh, the bias. That's fine.
Yeah, well, obviously there's going to be bias. I mean, what do you expect? But what we are going to expect, here comes Seeb, and he's pretty much alongside Andrea, but down the inside we go. Are we going for a repeat of last lap? Of course we are. We're sliding into turn one once again, and that is P7 now for Seeb. Andrea going to try and fight back with a cutback, but he's not got the grip. He doesn't have the traction. Here comes Kazi now, trying to go around the outside at turn two. Andrea just about manages to fend him off for the time being. 20 lap old tyres that we've got on here compared to 12 lap old on the Ferrari. Are we going to go for a move into turn 4? The answer is no. We're going to stay in behind. We're not going to do what Max Verstappen did and try and sneak it down the inside, even if he did absolutely nothing wrong. You don't want to go on that curve there on the inside of turn 5, Kazi. It really unsettles the car. But Seeb now, he's got the two SCI boys in front of him. Could we go for 3 for 3?
We could. This would be fantastic if it pays off. Yellow flag. There's a car very off the circuit. Very off the circuit. That is not where it goes. Is there a puncture on the Williams? No, I think they've just had a coming together somewhere, because no way a car naturally ends up like that on the runoff area of turn 4.
I've got on board with typical. There is no puncture. It's just skill.
Talent. Here we go. I was going to say, we're going to finally see an overtake. Evan Kanai overtaking Franek. It could be Oscar overtaking the Ventari car down the inside at turn 1. Another late lunge on the heaviest braking zone on the circuit. He gets past this contact on the exit as front right and rear left come together. Oscar is through. Can Volokongan follow? No, he can't. He gave up the position to his teammate to try and make that position. It has paid off an absolute treat. There's still a lap to go when we cross the line. Volokongan could still join Oscar in the top 5. IRT Sieb is ahead of Carsey and is looking to maybe get involved in this as well. For the people saying that this is a boring race in the live chat, I want whatever you are smoking. This has been fantastic. The 1 and 2 stops, not even that. It's not quite materialised how we thought it was going to be, but still the racing, the dive bombs we've seen at the front, the tension is palpable.
I've just had a quick look on board with Allison. His tyres are looking angry. I think this is where I mean, he's actually still he's pulling away from Quantum once again. But yeah, Allison's tyres are looking very angry. But Oscar is all of a sudden, his pace is just lit up. We still have a yellow flag in Sector 1. That is for Typical's AI as Allison is about to start what is already the final lap of this race.
Look at Oscar!
The battle for P3. It's certainly, contact there. Franek had a little bit of a wiggle, I think, on the exit. But Oscar's, has he got the move done? Yes, he has.
What's on the grass?
Has he got a puncture? He's got a puncture!
Does!
Franek
No!
has a puncture! Oh, no!
Oh, I cannot believe
dear.
it. I was wondering why he was driving onto the grass. I didn't think puncture. 22 laps down on the hard tyres. Franek will not finish in the podium spots after such a brilliant qualifying and indeed a brilliant race up until lap 35. That is absolutely heartbreaking for IRT, and I mean Sieb might still be able to salvage a top 5 here with some brilliant driving in the final sector, which would be an improvement on where he started. He's 4 places up as it stands, so this 2-stop has been a success. It has been as well for Carsey. Jude Frederick, I think he went too soon for the position he was in. He was following comfortably the VNT and SCI cars. And speaking of VNT, Alessin, we've not spoke about him for half the race because he has led in a net position from almost start to finish. Yes, he did pit a little bit earlier. He's pushing those tyres to its extremities, but he rounds the final corner having overtaken Franek, who did get a puncture. Alessin survives and wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Quantum will come home to finish in second out of SCI's Oscar for their second podium finish, third podium finish in 2 races. Then Evan Kanai and Volokongan in 5th, not able to overtake his VNT rival IRTC with a successful 2-stop. As with Carsey, Jude Frederick will rue the missed opportunity in this race. Andrea in 9th, he was very, very aggressive in his defence all race. That made for some quality battling. Max Power 10th, remaining points paying positions. Predestinato, Ticcio crowding, and then of course Jude Frederick has quit the game, so that will of course be reinstated when the tide comes up.
Why can't people just wait? I know
yeah.
Franek's got the puncture, but it just makes everyone's job a lot more difficult. And to be fair, they've got a point of report actually, don't they, to actually get that position back.
They
so it's
do,
doing more work for their respective managers. But either way, that was a entertaining race, it has to be said, come the end. What gets me is the fact that Franek, I don't think really did a lot of battling, and yet Andrea goes that extra lap. He did all that battling. He was side by side with Sieb on a number of occasions, with Carsey, and and the likes of those, and Oscar as well. And yet, as Franek's facing the wrong way at turn 12 and is now technically a lap down. But
oh no,
he's still going. And fair play to him. He's going to finish this race. I don't, fair play. I'll give him credit for that. But yeah, it's just what this game does. You get lucky or you don't get lucky. It'll be interesting to see what people's tyre wear was as they cross the start-finish line, or as close as possible. But
what? He's just been punted by McLaren.
Just seen it, yeah. Oh dear.
Come on, Franek. You've got a minute to get to the line. That'd be classified. Well done.
Go on, full throttle. There you go.
He's been robbed
3
by the
minutes and
tyre
16
gods.
seconds.
Robbed by the tyre gods of a podium. Finishes in P18. IRT were on for some massive points today, it has to be said. But yeah, the two-stop reduces the risk. The two-stop has paid off for a couple of drivers, gaining a few positions, but in the end, the one-stop and the tyre management from Alessin was your winning strategy, and it's 1-1 already in race wins between the big two teams in this tournament. Ventari and the Shizou Cedars Igniters will go toe-to-toe for the remainder of the season. We've established that already. This battle will resume in a week's time, where we go to Saudi Arabia. We hit the streets for the first time this season, and it's already tough to predict. Like I said, 1-1, and I think also the championship lead potentially for VNT, but I'll do the maths on
that. It's certainly going to be close. And you could be right, actually. With that, I'm not going to say I'm going to work about right this very second, because I'm not. But no, it's a good... yeah, I'll tell you what as well, we need to give a good shout out there to Quantum as well. He hit the same lap as Alessin.
Yeah.
He got that undercut, and he made it work. And it gets, you know, starting P7, finishes P2. That's a good recovery there. For Quantum and for FRT, and Max Power, even with his penalties, still manages to get P9. Even if he can get them removed, he's only going to gain that one place into P8 in the end. But I'll tell you what, though, Andrea lost a lot of time on that last lap, because he ended up 3.5 seconds off the back of Kazi. I think his tyres were about to explode, just like Franic's were.
I've done the very quick maths. I think it's Ventari 88, SCI 83. But I've not written that down. I've just kind of mentally maths that, so I don't know whether that's correct. You'll find out very soon. It will be on the socials and the Discord and all that good stuff. I've got copyrighted music on, so I'm going to end this stream very quickly indeed. Join us for the Artemis tier tomorrow at the same time, and the top tier on PC on Friday night as well. Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the race. We certainly did. See you soon. Bye for now.